Welcome to Global English Podcast. I'm Maya, and I'm here with my travel-loving friend, Sarah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah. Do I have a story for you today?
Today, we're talking about something that happens to many travelers, rental car confusion. Sarah recently had quite an experience in Barcelona, Spain. Sarah, tell us what happened.
Oh my gosh, Maya. So I'm in Barcelona, right? Beautiful city, amazing food, and I decided to rent a car for a road trip to explore the Spanish countryside.
That sounds wonderful.
It was supposed to be. So I go to this rental car company, one of the big international ones. The website said 30 euros per day. Perfect. I walk in feeling so confident and say to the agent behind the counter, "Hi, I'd like to rent a car."
Good. That's the perfect way to start. Direct and clear.
Right. So the agent, let's call him Carlos, he's super friendly. He says, of course, for how many days? I tell him 3 days, and he starts typing on his computer. Everything seems simple, He's asking normal questions. What kind of car do I want? Automatic or manual?
All standard questions.
Exactly. So after about 10 minutes, Carlos prints out this huge contract. Like, seriously, it was longer than my grocery list for a month. And that's when I see the price. Maya, it wasn't 30 euros per day anymore.
Oh no. What was it?
Get this, 95 euros per day. I nearly choked on my coffee. So I look at Carlos, and I'm confused and a bit panicked, and I ask him, "Excuse me, but what does this fee include? The website said 30 euros.
That's exactly the right question to ask. What does this fee include is such an important phrase when you're traveling.
Carlos starts explaining all these extra charges, insurance fees, something called a security deposit, fuel policy. My head was spinning. So I took a deep breath and started asking more specific questions. First, I asked, is insurance included?
Smart. Insurance is often the biggest confusion with rental cars.
Carlos explains that basic insurance is included in the 30 euros, but they're offering premium coverage for an extra 25 euros per day. 25 euros. That's almost the cost of the car itself.
Right, that's a common upsell. What did you ask next?
Well, I was planning to drive quite a bit, so I asked, is there a mileage limit? Because, some rental companies have these sneaky limits, and if you go over, they charge you extra.
Absolutely. Mileage limits can be a nasty surprise.
Fortunately, this rental was unlimited mileage, so that was good news. But then Carlos mentions the fuel policy, and I'm getting more confused. So I ask, do I need to return the car with a full tank?
Good question. Fuel policies can be tricky too.
Carlos tells me there are 2 options. I can return it with a full tank, or I can pay them to fill it up. But get this. They charge 2.50 euros per liter when gas stations charge about 1.40. Highway robbery.
Wow, that's quite a markup. What about the security deposit?
Right. So I ask, is there a security deposit? And Carlos says, yes, we need to hold 800 euros on your credit card. 800 euros! Maya, I almost fainted.
That does sound like a lot, but security deposits are normal. They usually release it when you return the car in good condition.
Yeah, Carlos explained that. And then he asks if my husband will be driving too, and I say yes. So he adds, that's an additional driver fee, 15 euros per day. More money. So I ask, can I add another driver? And he says yes, but it costs extra.
That's also common, unfortunately. So what did you decide to do?
Well, at that point, I was feeling pretty overwhelmed. I asked Carlos if I could have a few minutes to think about it. I stepped outside and called my travel-savvy friend, that's you, Maya.
And I told you to stay calm and ask the right questions, remember?
Exactly. You helped me understand that I needed to be clear about what I actually needed. So I went back inside and negotiated. I declined the premium insurance because I already had coverage through my credit card.
Smart move.
I chose to return the car with a full tank myself to save money. And I decided only I would drive, so no additional driver fee. In the end, I paid about 45 euros per day instead of 95. Much better.
Perfect. You saved yourself a lot of money by asking the right questions. Now, let me help our listeners understand some key vocabulary from Sarah's story.
Yes, let's break it down.
Rental car. This is a car you pay to use temporarily. In British English, we also say hire car. Next, security deposit. This is money the company holds on your credit card as protection in case you damage the car.
Right, and mileage limit means there's a maximum number of kilometers or miles you can drive. If you go over, you pay extra fees.
Insurance coverage protects you if there's an accident or damage. Basic coverage is the minimum protection, while premium coverage or full coverage gives you more protection but costs more money.
And don't forget fuel policy. This explains how you should return the car. Full to full means you pick up the car with a full tank and return it with a full tank.
Additional driver fee is extra money you pay if someone else besides you will drive the car. And upsell means when a company tries to sell you more expensive options than what you originally wanted.
Those are super useful terms.
Now, let's practice those essential phrases Sarah used. I'll say each phrase slowly, and you can repeat after me. Ready? You know, Sarah, your Barcelona experience reminds me of so many listener questions we receive. Before we dive deeper into vocabulary, let me share a few more common rental car scenarios that our listeners might face. I'd like to rent a car.
Oh, yes. What kind of situations do listeners ask about?
Well, here's a common one. You arrive at the airport late at night and the rental car desk is closed. Many travelers don't realize they need to book after-hours pickup in advance. This service usually costs extra, around 15 to 30 euros, but it means someone will be there to give you the keys. What does this fee include?
That's so important. I learned that the hard way once in Rome. What about when you get to the car and it's not what you expected?
Excellent point. Always inspect the car before driving away. Look for scratches, dents, or any damage, and make sure it's noted on your rental agreement. Take photos with your phone as proof. I also recommend checking that all the lights work, the tires look good, and you have a spare tire and car jack.
And don't forget about GPS. Some companies charge 10 to 15 euros per day for a navigation system, but honestly, your smartphone with Google Maps is usually much better and free.
Is insurance included? Here's another important tip. Different countries have different rules. For example, in some European countries, like Austria, you need to buy a highway vignette, that's a toll sticker, before driving on highways. In other places, you pay tolls at booths. Always ask the rental agent about local driving requirements.
Oh, and for younger travelers, if you're under 25, most companies charge a young driver fee. It can be quite expensive, sometimes 20 euros per day extra. Some companies won't rent to drivers under 21 at all.
And if you're planning to drive across borders, say from France to Spain, make sure that's allowed in your rental agreement. Some companies restrict cross-border travel or they charge extra fees for it. Always ask, can I drive this car to other countries? Is there a mileage limit?
These are such practical tips. Maya, I think we should add some more vocabulary that travelers need to know when renting cars.
Absolutely. Let's cover some additional terms that didn't come up in your Barcelona story, but are very important. Vignette is a toll sticker you need in some countries for highway driving. Young driver fee or underage surcharge is the extra cost for drivers under 25.
One-way rental means you pick up the car in one city and return it in another city. This usually costs more than a round-trip rental, where you return the car to the same location.
Do I need to return the car with a full tank? Compact car, economy car, and SUV describe different car sizes and types. A manual transmission car has a gear stick that you shift yourself, while an automatic transmission car shifts gears automatically. In Europe, manual cars are more common and usually cheaper.
Excess or deductible is the amount you have to pay if there's damage to the car, even with insurance. Collision Damage Waiver, or CDW, protects you from paying for damage to the rental car, but it might not cover everything.
Drop-off location is where you return the car. After-hours return means returning the car when the rental office is closed. You usually just park it and drop the keys in a box. But be careful because you're responsible for the car until they officially check it in the next day. Is there a security deposit? Can I add another driver? Excellent. Those phrases will help you avoid confusion when renting a car anywhere in the world.
And remember, don't be afraid to ask questions. It's better to understand everything before you sign the contract than to have expensive surprises later.
Absolutely right, Sarah. Always read the contract carefully. Ask about any fees you don't understand, and don't let anyone pressure you into buying coverage you don't need.
These vocabulary terms are so helpful. Should we practice some additional phrases that travelers might need?
What type of car do you recommend? Are there any hidden fees? Can I drive this car to other countries? Do you have any special deals or discounts? Could I see the car before signing the contract?
Perfect. And before we finish, here's one last tip from both of us. Always keep your rental agreement and take photos of everything. It can really save you from disputes later.
I'm so glad it worked out. That's all for today's episode of Global English Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow Global English Podcast for more real-life English stories. Bye for now.
We'll be back next week with another travel adventure. Until then, happy travels and keep practicing your English. Bye, everyone.